Today we're going to be taking a look at eSword version 15 and also comparing it to version 14. And the reason for that is because in version 15, the developer decided to do a total redesign of the user interface. So if you've been an avid user of eSword and you kind of gained some muscle memory of where stuff is located, well, there was some changes that were shifted around really to make the program simpler, but also really to strip away clutter that was maybe hurting your workflow to make things really more efficient. So the first thing we're going to take a look at here is called the views. So I actually use eSword X, which is the Mac version, and I would say that this is more closely related now to the Mac version than before. And one of the first things that stuck out was this view layout. So if I go ahead and expand this, you can see all these different drop-down options. And so right now you can see I just have the Bible selected, but you can go to show all views, and there you are. You have all your different windows. You will notice that commentaries, dictionaries, and lexicons are split out. And in addition, you can't move the items. So if you were a user of version 14, if we go back to version 14 here, you can see maybe your layout was a little different than mine, but I always kind of had the Bible in the center and the commentaries and the dictionaries off to the right side here. But before, what you could do is you could drag stuff around. So I could move my commentary and I could layer it like this, right? Or I could take my dictionary and then move it over to the side, and then my commentary, move it over to the side. That isn't a feature anymore on this version 15. It's now stuck in place and you're not able to move it. You're also not able to pin like before. So this auto hide, if I click this, do you see how it pinned it on this side here? That auto hide feature has been removed as well. So if you were a user and used to kind of customizing the layout, that's one thing that will be a disadvantage. However, what is nice about this is, you can select this, and now there's a button here on the left side that will let you show a study view. You can also hit Control W, and what that will do is it will bring up the Strong's Concordance, so this KJV plus. So now you can look at the Strong's to make it a lot easier. Before, that wasn't the case. In addition, when it comes to lexicons, if we go back to all views here, you can see there's now a lexicon section and a dictionary section. If we go back to the old one, dictionaries was combined with lexicons. You can see it was all grouped together and there was each tabs. One of the things too is if you had a ton of dictionaries, this could get super long. Same with all your different translations. This could be like super long, a really long list. But now to select a translation, it's a drop down. To select your commentaries, it's a drop down. Instead of all these tabs that, like I said, you have a lot, it can create a whole mess. So the first thing let's take a look at to really look at in terms of all the different views, we'll look at the Bible first, and we'll just kind of step through how this Bible portion works. So here we have just the straight up Bible, right? And so I have this study view that will allow me to add in the, again, that Strong's Concordance. I always say that word wrong. And so now you can see that the tabs that once were the different translations, right? There was all these different translations at the top. Now you have clean tabs that allows you to see cross references, tags, which I'm pretty certain that's new. Search, so you can specifically search inside the Bible. So remember, when it came to search, what you would do before is you would click this search button up here, the search Bible, and you would click that and it would create a new window with this information. But now instead, if you want to just do a specific Bible search, this is now a tab here. And so now I could search, love, and it will search all of the Bible on this translation. I probably should have made it a little more specific. That love's mentioned a lot, but you can see there's 323 verses, 362 matches. So, and then the same thing, the old version where you would go and search. If I did a search and I did love on the same translation, you'll see it will be the same amount of information, but you see that the results aren't at the top. The results are actually on the search or at the bottom. So that's interesting that now it gives you that right away at the top instead of you having to scroll the whole way down to get that final number. So it's also at the top, which is convenient. This isn't a video where we're going to go really in depth to features, but you can, do on your searches, you can do parcel match, you can do case sensitive. information, and you can also do the all words, any words, phrases, and there's even the regex, so regex there, which allows you to put in like kind of different characters that will really make your search more powerful. And the last item is just history, and so I just downloaded version 15, so I don't have much history here at the moment, and so there it is. That is the main portion of the Bible shown. Now you might say, well, what about the comparisons? What about the parallels, right? So there was a button here that said compare and parallel, right? So you have your compare and your parallel, and then you'd have all your different Bible translations. And honestly, this wasn't really all that great. I wasn't a big fan of the way this was tabbed, so this is a huge improvement in my opinion. So now instead, it's an actual button. So if I press the compare button, now I see all my different translations, and then if I go and I do the parallel view, it will do the same thing. So now instead of it being a tab, it's now a button down here, which I think in terms of the Bible portion, the Bible view, I think this is a super clean way of looking at things. So, you know, you can just go in through, you can select your different verses, and then you can just go in and you can see all the different pieces here. Hello. I bet you didn't expect me to pop up on the video like this, did you? Well, I just wanted to let you know I have a tendency to go off on tangents, and because of that I will just ramble on useless information. So I decided to make some edits, and unfortunately that created a very hard transition that's about to happen. So I just wanted to let you know as a filler here that I'm done talking about the Bible view, and now we're moving on to the toolbar, just for some context. Well, continue on. But there's a lot less clutter that's up at the top. If we go back to version 14, we can see all the clutter that's up here. You know, you had your different views, you had graphic viewer, reference library, you know, what is this drop down? I don't even know. Like, so it was so cluttered before, right? But now we have this super clean layout of all, you know, everything's pretty specific on what you're looking at. So the next thing I want to take a look at is super search. And so that's something that is brand new. It hasn't, it wasn't before. What you would do is you would click this search button, right? The search the Bible, and it would pretty much search the Bible. You could also search, actually, it looks like it's redundant. The same thing. I don't know if I really ever took notice of that. Maybe I did, but do you see? And then there's a find on page, and you know, it's just kind of cluttered, and it doesn't really fit well. You know, there's the same button that does the same thing. Select verse list. There's that, you know, what is all this? This is so cluttered, you know. But now if we go back to the new version, it's very easy. Bible Navigator, boom, right there's all your things. It gives you, you know, I want to take a look at this, you know, I want to go back to Genesis, creation of the world, boom. And then I can see that's the header, right? It's very snappy and quick. But now we have this thing called super search. And so this is the part that I'm excited about when it comes to this Windows version. And so again, remember how I searched in the term love earlier in the search? Well, if I search love, well, now I can search my entire library. Every single thing that's available, or I can just search all Bibles, all commentaries, all dictionaries. So let's just do all Bibles and all words, and we're going to search the word love, and we're just going to go ahead and search. So again, remember, we can do a partial match or a case sensitive, but I'm just going to search everything, and it's just going to systematically boom, 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 boom through all my translations. Now this part I'm actually really excited about, because now if I'm looking for the word love and I search first the King James Version, well, what if another version translated another word to love, but I want to get that verse maybe for a sermon that I'm preparing for, or a Bible study? It just gives you this whole realm of possibilities where now you'll be able to really in-depth search. So if I even search in lexicons and I search love, I haven't even tried this yet. I mean, we can try this. Lexicon search. Look at that, boom, boom, boom. And then if I go in here, we can see these are all the different lexicons that mention the word love. That's really cool. That's the first time I actually did that, was live right here. So you can go through all these different ones. And so the Strongs, I can see all these different ones have love in the definition somewhere in all these different items, right? Even like agape or agapeo, right? Agape, there's agape, verse G26. That's like the God kind of love, right? That's really cool. You know, we can take a look even at dictionaries and say, okay, well, how many dictionaries mention the word love? Well, look, all these different, that's so cool. This is the first time I did the Bible one, but I didn't do the dictionary one yet. So you're seeing this for the first time as well as I'm seeing this. So that's really cool. So any Bible, any dictionary item that has an entry that has the word love at all is in here. Now that's a super search. That's search on steroids. That's really cool. Last, we'll just take a look at, I think we already did lexicons. Let's take a look at commentaries. And there we go. There's all the different commentaries. So the cross references, that's really cool too, because then you can go in here and so it shows you, you know, all the different pieces where it's finding a cross reference in relation to a phrase that includes love. That's some cool stuff. I don't know if you're as excited as I am, but that's probably one of the coolest things of version 15 is the super search. All right, so lastly, we'll just kind of take a look at the remaining views and we'll kind of call it a day. Okay, so the remaining things that we have, you know, we have the commentary, the dictionaries, the lexicons, and the editors. So I will give a preface. I don't use editors at all. I personally keep my notes in another note-taking platform. So I never touch the editors. So, you know, you have your different topic notes, your study notes, journal notes. All of that looks generally the same. You know, you have, but now there's like tabbing. Do you see like the different tabs? So actually I'll open up the editor pretty much full or a bigger view of the editor here. So now you have different tabs. So that's kind of clean. I like the color coordination. That is pretty nice. So it does look a lot cleaner, the overall editor. I don't use this, like I said, but if you do, you know, the main thing is just the layout change, but a lot of the functionality looked similar from when I was looking through this here. Next, we have dictionaries. So if I pull out the dictionaries, we have the lexicon and the dictionary. So if I was to go into search, and again, I search the word love, and I go to Genesis 22:2, which mentions, you know, whom you love. And so if I was to click on the word Isaac, right, it will give me my dictionary here. And I can turn off this study view and I can get rid of that Strong's Concordance portion, which I will pull that back out here in a moment. But there you go. There's a dictionary for Isaac, and it gives me all the, you know, you have all your different dictionaries and then right there's, you know, this is what Isaac means. Or maybe we can look up the word love, and then there you go. Oh, well, this one says love feasts. There you go. And then in terms of the lexicon, I'll pull this back up. And if I go and I search just this word here, actually, since I keep using love, I'll use the word love. So this is Strong H157. So the word love, to have affection for, right? And so we have all these different items that we have. All right, there's the Briggs, to love. We have all these different items. So now if we go to the commentaries, the commentary, same thing, pinned on the side. I can just select the verse and it would just do what it did before, right? You can just select your commentary, you can select through and it'll show your commentary there on the side. One thing that I wish you could do, or, you know, that I did like about the old one, is when I do pull up dictionaries, I like my dictionaries on the side to the right, and that looks like that's lacking. Like it has to be below. So my one advice would be if I could somehow, you know, move the layout. I'm okay with, I like this option where you can select it. I think that's fine. But, you know, this being stuck on the bottom, I prefer it on the right side. But besides that, overall, I mean, besides just, you know, learning muscle memory, right? Muscle memory's got to change a little bit. Overall, this is closer to the Mac version, which I think the Mac version's pretty clean. And that's pretty much the main idea. So I thank you for tuning in today, taking a look at eSword version 15 with me. So if you want anything more in depth, if you want more comparison, any more information, please let me know in the comments. And if you found this helpful, let me know as well. I just, again, didn't see any videos online about version 15 compared to 14. Actually, I didn't even see any for version 15 yet. So I just wanted to go out here and make a video. Well, I pray that your Bible studies are very fruitful, that God reveals himself to you through your study, and that you're able to just go down rabbit holes that will lead you closer to him. And just continue to seek his voice, hear and obey, Shema, and just continue to pursue him every day of your life. I thank you all and I love you all, and I hope you all have a very blessed day. Thank you for tuning in.